Hey everyone, what's going on? My name's Live, and in today's video, we're going to be discussing the Icebreaker event for Payday 2, and more specifically, when it may come to consoles. This is something I've been asked to talk about a few times on Twitter and YouTube. People want to know my thoughts on this event, what it contained, whether it was good or bad, and more importantly, when it would drop on console, which bits we'd see first, perhaps if they split it up. And I wasn't going to make the video because I figured there were other YouTubers who wanted to cover it, but not a lot of people have talked about Icebreaker, and I figure I could offer a unique perspective as a console player and as a console content creator for Payday 2. And on top of that, as most of you know who are already subscribed, the situation with Goris meant to be posting an update yesterday didn't actually quite happen, or at least it's yesterday when I'm recording this. It may be 2 days ago when it goes live. But basically, I wanted to have some kind of video to put up and talk about something new and something fresh to make up for the fact that we didn't have a video on Friday, because as you guys know, I like to have one video every week. And the Icebreaker event, I have to say, in my opinion, is possibly the best Payday 2 event that's happened in a good few years. It's been really good. They kept it short, they kept it concise, and they put some really good stuff in there. So what I thought I'd do is I'd go through it, talk about it, and then give my opinions on when I think it will come on consoles. Now, the Icebreaker event spanned 5 days in August, going from the 13th to the 17th, celebrating 5 years of Payday 2. On 3 of the days, they released new content, and on the other 2 days in between each of the content days, they just put a bit of filler in there. There was a cocktail competition on one day, and then the Overkill team did a live stream on the other spare day. It's the usual formula they've gone for now the past few events that they've done, where they have a content day and a day off, and so on and so forth for however many days they have in the event. This time was the first time they'd done it for only 5 days though. The usual was it used to be 10 days, then they moved it down to 7 with Spring Break 2018, and this event was only 5. But as I said, keeping it concise actually did it a lot of favours. But let's start off by looking at what was added in this event. So on day 1, PC players finally got access to Joy, the female heister who was added on the Nintendo Switch version at launch as a timed exclusive. A number of people didn't think it was timed. People thought she actually would never come to PC or console, but I found some evidence regarding that it would be timed exclusive, so I knew it was only a matter of time. It just wasn't actually confirmed at any point how long the window would be. So to some PC players, it was probably a surprise to see her arrive on PC, but for others, it was an expected one, like it would have been for me if I played on PC. So she had about half a year's worth of exclusivity and then was released in the first day of the Icebreaker event, alongside her own weapon, the signature SMG, some nightstick baton melee weapon that I don't really think anyone cares about, and then the hacker perk deck. Now, I did a video back in February covering Joy and the hacker perk deck and the Switch version of Payday 2 as a whole, whether it was a triumph or a disappointment. If you want to go check that video out, there'll be a link to it in the description. But basically, what I talked about there was mainly having a go at the hacker perk deck. I didn't think it looked very good to me. I read through it, looked at the perks it was offering, and I just wasn't really all that impressed. I've looked at it again now, and I can kind of see the appeal to it in some extent. I think it's better for pseudo stealth builds, the hacker perk deck. If you want to see the explanation again, link to my video will be in the description. There's no point in treading over the same ground again. It's basically, to sum it up, it gives you like smaller versions of ECM jammers. They're called pocket ECMs. You don't have to hold a button down to activate them. You just literally tap them like you would throw a throwable, because they do replace throwables, and they have the same effect as an ECM jammer, either disabling communications pages for 6 seconds, or in loud, they'll have a chance to stun enemies over the 6-second period. So they can be quite handy, but I honestly don't think it's worth changing the whole perk deck for them, because on really high difficulties, you're just going to want to take Rogue or Grinder or something that works really well for Death Sentence, for one down, for whatever you want to play on. But for pseudo stealth builds, for instance, like I did my Hitman Agent 47 build, that perk deck will complement it quite well, because it has benefits in both stealth and loud. In terms of Joy herself though, I actually never listened to any of her voice lines when I made that video back in February. I didn't listen to anything she said. I had no opinion on the voice actor because I hadn't heard a word that she'd said, which probably wasn't the best idea. If I was going to do a video on the Switch, I probably should have looked into that, but having heard some of her voice lines now, I don't mind her. I don't think she's bad, but I don't think she's amazing. I mean, I currently have a go at her being a bit too high-pitched, because Sydney has that habit as well sometimes, but I like some of her remarks and her quips. They can be quite funny, so Joy seems like a very good character to be added. As for her weapon, the signature SMG seems a little bit weak. It only does like 44 damage or something, I'm pretty sure, or something less than that. I think it's 44 accuracy and stability, and then damage might be the same or somewhere near that, but basically it's really weak. If you're going to take an SMG that's low damage and high mag capacity or something, I'd honestly choose the Compact 5 or something over that. But even then, I don't like using those SMGs. I'm much more of a fan of the high damage, low mag capacity SMGs. So for me, it doesn't bother me too much. And as for the Akimbo variant, well, anyone can get hold of any of the Akimbo variants without owning DLC on PC. And eventually, when that feature comes to consoles, everyone on console will have all the Akimbo SMGs they could want without owning any DLC either. So you've got way more options than using those signature SMGs. And I don't really think they're going to stand out too much, but something to have a go of. And if you do a video, or a build for low difficulties where you want to talk about something like I may do with those guns, it might be something like the simple shotgun build where it doesn't work for high difficulties, but it works very nicely for chill heists on like Overkill or below. So it'll have its purpose, just maybe not the one that everyone wants it to. But that rounds off day 1 with Joyce. Let's move on to day 3. As I've said in the past, every other day was a filler day, and on day 2 there was a cocktail competition, which, to be honest, I didn't even check who won because I genuinely don't care. But for day 3 we got a brand new heist, the Shacklethorn Auction. Now this heist is very good because you actually can complete it in stealth or loud. You have that option, and a lot of the heists that have been released recently, you don't have much of an option regarding that. Let's take it with examples. Breaking Feds is stealth only, Henry's Rock is loud only, Brooklyn Bank loud only, Reservoir Dogs loud only. Diamond Heist is the most recent heist they've released that was done in stealth or loud. You can pick which one you go for, but the heist itself, I have to admit, I really like. It's in a huge mansion when there's an auction being held. All the Payday gang members are wearing tuxedos. You can go around and loot so much stuff, so many artifacts and things along those lines, and it's honestly really good. I've seen gameplay of it and I'm quite impressed. It could be one of the best heists that we've got that is on its way for consoles that we don't have yet. So when that drops, it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a really interesting heist, but personally I think it'll be a very good addition. But that sums up day 3, so let's move on to day 5, which brought a brand new game mode out called Holdout. Now in Holdout, you're basically put against waves of police officers who are trying to get a hostage from you in a specific area of a heist. There are 4 options at the moment. As far as I know, no more have been added to PC yet. More on those in a second. But basically you have up to 9 waves of police officers, and they come in big batches like a police assault wave, and every time you fight back a wave, they give you a ransom offering for a civilian that you have tied up. So they'll say, for the civilian you have, we'll give you, say, $3 million or whatever it may be. And you can either accept the offer and trade the civilian, it'll end the holdout and you get the ransom payout. Or you can say, no, forget it, not taking that money, and another wave will come, and the next offer they give you will be higher. So every time you go from wave 1 all the way up to wave 9, you'll get a higher and higher and higher ransom offering. So basically you get the highest if you complete all 9 waves. However, if anyone is gone into custody at any point during the heist, or if the civilian themselves is freed during the assault, then it will end straight away. You'll lose everything. You won't get anything to show for doing the holdout game mode, but you can get very high payouts if you make it through and get to high rounds. It's a really interesting take on the style of Payday 2 because it already pretty much is a horde survival game, because even though you're going around a map and going to different objectives, there are hordes of endless amounts of police officers just coming at you in assault waves. So it's kind of refining that, putting it into a box and saying, okay, you have to stay in this one place the whole time, defend it for as long as you can, and you'll get better rewards. I really like the idea of it, and I can't wait to see it come to console. But as I said earlier, there are 4 different areas where this can happen, so let's cover those. First off, in the North Hall of the Diamond, just before where you reach the actual floor grid to get across, where there's the gas that pours in if you get the wrong floor tile. So in that North Hall of the Diamond is the first option. Second one is in the First World Bank, in the main lobby to one side of the entrance. There's a little area there you have to defend. Third one is Heat Street, where the van topples over and you have to get Matt out of the van. You have to defend a hostage there. And the fourth and final one is inside a warehouse in day 2 of Watch Dogs. One of the warehouses where I'm pretty sure a pickup can spawn. You can put the coke bags in there to wait for a boat to arrive. So those are your 4 options. I think on PC they have a weekly holdout, so you just click on it and every 7 days it will reset to a different one. Or you could pick a random one, it'll just give you a random one to go for. I don't know whether they'll give us that option on console or just say pick whichever one you want, because usually those kind of systems don't work too well on console. But from what I've heard, it's actually a really good game mode from people who've experienced it and played it through and given their thoughts on it. It seems like it's a very good way to test out builds, just to pass the time. And also, it's really challenging in the sense that the way the waves work is that the higher you go up, you get different types of enemies that can sometimes come along with crime spree modifiers, such as Cloakers able to cuff you, which is quite good because it lets you practice certain things that will appear in higher crime sprees, and that way you're actually a bit more prepared for it for when it actually happens on a crime spree, because in crime spree, obviously, you've got a lot more risks and a lot more high stakes, because you can go on for heist after heist after heist without getting any rewards until you get to a really high crime spree rank. So at that point, if there's any modifiers you can actually practice and hold out, it's a good idea to do it there, because it's not as high stakes. I mean, you do lose a lot of money if you fail the holdout at a high wave, but nowhere near as much as if you were to fail a crime spree and then cash out as a result. So it's well worth giving it a go and experiencing it, and for PC players, it looks like it was a welcome addition to the game and a welcome game mode for people to play, so hopefully we'll see that on console soon. But that pretty much sums up all the content added with the Icebreaker event. There were some masks and achievements and things added here and there, like a gold wolf mask for the 5th birthday of Payday 2. I'm not going to cover loads of those because I don't really see the point of it. The real bread and butter of the video is talking about the big things that are added to the character, the heist, and the game mode, which we've now covered. So let's move on to discussion about when this will come to consoles. Now, first off, reassurance that the content will be coming is obviously very important for console players. Most of us imagine that it'll be in development already anyway, but let's just get some reassurance from a tweet that Almir put out saying, "Great seeing the positive response to the Icebreaker event. Thank you all who participated. What was your favourite part? To which somebody with the username I'm Sal replied, "My favourite part is imagining how much longer us console players will have to wait till we get that event." To which Almi replied and said, "I understand your frustration, would love to release it tomorrow if we could, but we're looking forward to updating you on the upcoming content as quickly as possible, sorry." So, it's in the works. I really didn't need to show that tweet to say that either way, but the content is coming. Now, it's more of a matter of when it will show. Now, those of you who haven't seen my past videos predicting when the next DLC will drop and what DLC will be in it, basically, to sum it up, if you want to watch those videos, feel free to go do so. I'll leave a link to one of them in the description. But basically, I said that everything up to the end of 2017's DLC I would expect in the next update, so everything right up until Brooklyn Bank, alongside hopefully Crime Spree, Team AI, Continental Coins, and Storyline, which Goris confirmed those 4 should be in the next update, provided there are no testing issues. So let's get that out of the way. So those 4 features are there, and I imagine up to the end of 2017's DLC. I said when Spring Break happened a few months ago, I didn't think that content would be in the next update. It's probably a bit too much to ask. So here's where I stand with it. I think that if Spring Break does come in the next update, this event definitely won't, and it'll be in the next update afterwards. It'll be the priority DLC to put in the next update that we get after the one that's coming. However, if Spring Break does not come in this next update, which I don't think it will, to be honest, so Breaking Feds, Henry's Rock, all that stuff, if that doesn't release in the next update for Payday 2, I think that'll be lumped in with the Icebreaker event, and the next console update we get after that will have both of those together. So my way of putting it basically is Icebreaker will probably not be in this event, DLC, sorry, but it'll be in the next DLC after that. I think that's a reasonable prediction to make, and who knows, maybe if they can get the safe house working by that point, that could be thrown in as well. So personally, that's my prediction for which DLC updates it'll come in. As for the release time frame, I'm gonna say 2019, because what I've said up to now is that I feel like the next update will happen before the end of the year. That makes sense. I'm thinking September, October, November time. Hopefully one of those months we'll see something regarding a release date, what might be included, and all that stuff. But by the time that's done, I feel like it'll probably be early 2019 before the next update, because they do leave a few months in between content updates for Xbox One and PS4. Not to mention the Switch still needs some form of a DLC. I've covered it before and people keep asking me. There isn't anything else to report, and, you know, I mean, there should be by this point. So hopefully they'll drop an update on the Switch at some point, or maybe when they update Xbox One and PS4, they'll drop a Switch update at the same time, just with different content to catch up. I really don't know. I genuinely don't know. But for Icebreaker, I don't imagine it releasing till next year. So might not be what everyone wants to hear, but I think that's a reasonable prediction to make. But other than that, that sums up the discussion on the Icebreaker event. So, hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, please consider giving it a thumbs up. Always be very much appreciated. Apologies that this is the video I had to make rather than talking about the big details that were supposed to come on Friday from Goris, but unfortunately that inside information seemed to be wrong, or perhaps Overkill behind the scenes weren't actually as ready to release that information as they thought, and when the insider found out that it was being released, that was before they changed their minds. We don't know the details. There could be something going on behind the scenes that meant that info wasn't put out there, because normally Goris does post every week regardless at this point, so it is strange he didn't put anything at all, rather than just put something vague and not actually give the details that we thought we were going to get. Regardless, when Goris posts something, as always, I'll make a video on it. You guys are aware of that by this point. But if you have enjoyed, thank you very much. I want your discussion down in the comments below. Do you think Icebreaker will come the next update, the update after that? What time frame are you thinking? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Leave your thoughts down below. Let me know. But other than that, thank you all very much for watching. As always, on screen now, you're going to see the most recent video from the channel and also a link to subscribe if you'd like to do so. Other than that, thank you all very much for watching. Very much appreciated, as always. Like and subscribe. And guys, I'll see you all in the next video. Take it easy.